Hey guys, Pedro here to tell you about the latest from Warbringer, Wrath and Ruin, out March 14th on Napalm Records. The album has 8 tracks, 40 minutes in length, and this is the band's 7th full-length studio album. They are an American thrash metal band. And for this record, they created an amazing album design. This record is fluid, is engaging, is dynamic, it has ebbs and flows. It's super well put together, and there's many reasons for why this album really works as a whole, outside of obviously working as far as the individual songs are concerned. And I think the two main ingredients for this album to have this great overall experience, one is that this album alternates tracks not only in terms of sound experience but also in terms of length. And I think that's really important, not to put 3 songs in a row that go over the 6-minute mark. It would make the album actually feel longer than what it is. So alternating tracks that are over the 6-minute mark with songs that are just over 3 minutes makes the experience feel more engaging. It makes the record feel more fluid, more dynamic, having more energy in it. The other aspect that makes this album really interesting as a collective is that they picked 2 great songs to define what the album is as the starting point and what the album is as the finish line. Starting off with the sword and the cross is a great way to start off the record. It's a long track, and you may think, man, a 6+ minute track to open up the album. But it's a great song. It has great dynamics. It has a great structure, individual structure, that allows this track to really get you off to the races and kind of give you an idea what the overall album is going to be all about. Once again, then alternating to a track that's just over the 3-minute mark makes that fluidity work really well. And then closing with The Last of My Kind. I think that is the perfect closing song because it has a sense of finality, not only in the sound but also in the lyrical content, so it fits that bottom end of the record perfectly. These to me are the 2 reasons why this album overall works so well from a structural standpoint. Now, as far as the sound is concerned, the first thing that I noticed when I was listening to this record was the bass. Yes, I know it's Warbringer, and here I am talking about the bass. But the Canadian Chase Bryant is the bass player for Warbringer. This is his 2nd record, and he definitely got his money's worth. There's a lot of bass sound on this album. The production of this record really allows the bass to come through on every song, more in some, less in others, but it comes through quite a bit, but not in a jarring way. It goes only to a certain level where you start to see then the bass sound kind of dissipating at the top. It dilutes at the top, and I think that's really important because it never breaches. If it breached, it would become it would create some dissonance within the sound, because your ears would constantly go to that bass sound, and that bass sound would become the driving force of the sonic experience of the record instead of the drums and guitars, for example. So having the bass go just a little bit underneath that threshold and then always stay there, and sometimes go even a little bit deeper into the mix, allows the record to have at times a sense of darkness coming out of the bass sound or influenced by what the bass is doing, and other times offering a little bit of grooviness to the way the songs are put together. It allows it to be mobile between these 2 ideas, between these 2 experiences, but never really breaking apart the definition of the sound within the song. And this actually gives more room for the drums and for the guitars. The guitars on this album sound phenomenal. They have a little bit of an old school thrash metal influence to them, to the tuning, to the sound, to the texture of the sound. You're going to hear that not only in the riffs and the melodies, but also in the guitar solos. This is a very throwback thrash metal album as far as the guitar sound, specifically as far as the guitar sound is concerned. But when you put everything together, the album feels very modern in its taste and its delivery and the way the elements blend with one another. Even having the bass that predominant throughout the record is also a little bit of an old school flavor as far as thrash metal is concerned. And then you obviously also have great drums. The drums on this album are powerful. They're meaty, but they're not overshadowing any of the other elements. They always find room to sit right behind where the guitars are and actually propel the guitars forward. But I really enjoy the drum sound on this album. It gives the record size. Even in songs that are a little bit more methodic, that don't move as fast, the drums are always there to give a big footprint to the song, create a much bigger canvas so that the guitars have a lot more room twiggle, and this makes for a much better overall sounding experience. Once you get down to the vocals, John is John, and he's phenomenal. He has a great delivery. He has this raspiness to his tone, and I feel like for an album that has this much darkness to a certain degree, there is a lot of darkness on this album, but for an album that's very aggressive, very intense, his vocal delivery is absolutely perfect for it. And in the end, you end up with another great thrash metal album in a year that's going to be the year of thrash. This year, 2025, is going to be the year where you're going to get a whole slew of great thrash metal albums for you to listen to. So if you're a fan of the genre, this album, other albums from other bands are telling you exactly what I've known for a very long time. The genre is not dead. Thrash metal is still alive and kicking, and this record proves it. Now, as far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Neuromancer, and I'm starting off with a slow song, then going to a mid-tempo song, and then going to a faster track. Neuromancer is definitely one of the slower songs on this record, and it has that bass sound, but it has a subtle impact to the track, and it lets the guitars grind over it, and the drums feel very heavy and powerful. So there's some weight there, and I feel like almost the weight of the song is what slows down the track itself. It feels like a more methodic track in terms of how it moves, but with a lot of old school elements in it, from a guitar standpoint, from a drum standpoint, from an overall mixing standpoint. It's a very throwback thrash metal sounding song. The vocals are on point. I love how the vocals sound on this track, really helping emphasize the moments of the song. There's some great grooviness within this track as well. The grooviness doesn't offer speed, but it offers a different texture to the song. It doesn't allow the track to completely stand still, and I think that's an important element for a track that is this heavy and this methodic. Next, we have the Jackhammer. Now, this is a track that infuses more intensity and more aggression. It becomes more driven, both musically and vocally. It has a great, outstanding drum sound throughout. I love the underlying bass sound that really populates this song extremely well, filling in all the gaps, and that allows the guitars to be in the forefront all the time. It has a great solo section, really powerful, energetic solo section, bringing an old school flavor to the way the guitar sound comes across in the solos, outside the solos, throughout the entire song. It is a live track. This song has all the elements, both musically, lyrically, from a vocal standpoint, from an enunciation standpoint. This song is what a live song should be. It has all of those elements at every single turn. Then last but definitely not least, Strike from the Sky. This song absolutely rips. It's fast, it's driven, both musically, vocally. The guitars, drums really overpower the senses. You don't hear as much of the bass breaking through in this song because of how it's driven, because of how it moves, because of how it drives. And if you looked up in the dictionary the words actually circle pit, this song would be the definition of it. This song also has a great live energy to it. It would really get the crowd going, crowd moving. It's a super aggressive, super intense song all around. This is it, Warbringer with Wrath and Ruin, out March 14th on Napalm Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.